All right, look, the honest truth that a lot of people won't tell you, if in 2025 you have any hopes of trying to make it as a streamer someday and you're not putting out content, you should just quit now. I know it sounds a bit harsh, but it's the reality. If you want to have a chance of even making minimum wage as a streamer, you can't get there without making some form of content on other social media to push people back to your stream. But you could use your stream to make that content. So I just want to give you guys this stat real quick so you understand this impact. Based on Twitch data, it indicates that only 0.05% of all streamers earn at or above the US federal minimum wage. The current US federal minimum wage, by the way, is $290 a week or $15,000 a year. So that means just on fucking Twitch alone, there are so many streamers that if you make $15,000 a year, you are the top 0.05%. Talk about a bloodbath. I remember at one point in time, years ago, which means by now it's gotta be worse, if you averaged 40 viewers or more on Twitch, you were the top 2%. I think it was actually the top 1.5% of Twitch, meaning 98 to 98.5 of the streamers on Twitch get less than 40 viewers. So yeah, if you're starting off in 2025, or you've just been kind of dabbling over the last couple of years and you fall in that big fucking pit, your odds of just streaming 8 hours a day and making it and getting big and growing a community, especially if you're only using a site like Twitch or Kick, you're fucked. Like, why even waste your time? Now, there's obviously like a group of people that like, they just stream on the side for some fun, which is great. It's probably like the best way most people should look at streaming is just like, you got a couple extra hours a week, like, oh, cool, you're just gonna sit down and stream a game or some just chatting. But there are literally hundreds of thousands of aspiring streamers that stream like 40, 50, 60 hours a week, thinking if they just show up every single day, like at some point their big break will come, and that couldn't be further from the truth. You're just literally wasting your time. A big thing I think a lot of people need to start realizing is there's no difference between a streamer and a content creator. You're just a content creator. You are creating live content, but from that live content, you can be converting that into VOD content, like your longer horizontal videos, or you could be converting it into short form content. My goal today is to make this as easy as possible, or give you guys the encouragement that most of you guys could be taking your streams, turning it into content, and then helping bring people over to the platform. So that way you actually have a chance in this fucking sea of streamers to maybe get some extra viewers to potentially pass the minimum wage threshold. Okay, so diving into this, let's talk about the ways that you can take your content from stream and convert it. In order to do that first, you obviously have to record. The easiest thing that I'm gonna suggest, download your goddamn VOD. I see so many streamers respond to this like, yeah, but when I download the VOD, it's like lower quality, or I gotta like search through something. Well, a little caveat to that is you could just maybe timestamp something on your phone on like a more important moment, just in case you miss it. So there's an easy answer there, Mr. Excuses. But to the quality thing, nobody gives a fuck. Like if you have a good clip, if you have a good moment to share, like something is better than nothing. I don't know how many viral TikToks have to happen of like a shaky, vertical, low pixelated clip popping off has to happen until people are like, oh shit, like if it's good enough or it's like capturing a funny moment or an informative moment, like it doesn't matter the quality, as long as people can hear it and at least gather some kind of information from the visual quality, it genuinely doesn't fucking matter. So yeah, if you don't have a computer that can handle recording or you're too intimidated to do the other things I'm about to mention, like just download your goddamn VOD. The other way is you can use your streaming program. You know, for example, if you're using Streamlabs or OBS, you can just blatantly record when you go into a game or when you start talking about a topic or when you're like doing art or playing a song. You can record that entire section, or you can set up a replay buffer to where you press a button and it will record a certain amount of seconds or minutes that you've pre-programmed into this. It's like replay buffer in OBS and in Streamlabs. It's called clipping and meld, and I'm sure any other program by now in 2025 has the ability to do this. And if you're using a stream program in 2025 that doesn't have the ability to record and clip something from the past, then you need to get the fuck off of that program and move over to a new one. You're gonna see real quick today that I just don't care for the excuses. Like, you wanna turn this into something and you wanna compete with the tens of thousands of other streamers that work really fucking hard to get their content out there, but you can't download a clip or you can't change to a different program that would make your life easier to be able to actually do that. Like, let's just be real, you really don't want it that bad, and you're probably just better off leaving this video. And that brings me to the other questionable recording thing that people always ask, which is like, if your computer can't handle the recording, if you don't want to download the VOD, maybe what you could do is you could lower your stream quality to like a 720p and then be able to record directly from the streaming software itself. Again, you don't need to stream at the highest quality. You don't need to stream at 1080, 60 FPS. Making your stream or recording quality higher doesn't automatically equal success. Again, nobody gives a fuck like you do. Most of these things that you tell yourself in your head, like, I can't do something because I can't compete with what other people are making, it's just you creating the excuse and self-doubt in your head. Again, something is literally better than nothing. So downloading your live stream VODs and chopping it up makes it super easy to make long form content on platforms like YouTube or Facebook, or even just recording something in your streaming platform. Again, makes that process super easy. But what about vertical? Well, for anybody watching this on YouTube right now, there's this fancy thing called a search bar at the top. So what you could literally do is you can take your editing software that you have on your computer or your phone, and you can YouTube search how to turn a horizontal clip into a vertical clip. And it's that fucking easy. Not only there, could you just use your own editing software and take a clip and turn it into a vertical and put your cam at the top and figure out a way to do that yourself. But in 2025, you have plugins and apps where you can use the software to do it for you. In fact, in Streamlabs, in OBS through the Atom vertical plugin, and in Meld, you can just build a vertical scene in there so that way you can capture vertical moments while you're live. And then some apps like Instagram, for example, they have an automated vertical scale on the app. Like, you could take a 16:9 horizontal clip, throw it on your phone, put it on Instagram, and you hit these two little dots and it will turn your clip in vertical just like that. Never been easier to take clips and recordings and turn them into vertical shit so that way you could start posting the places. Which brings me to the next point. Where do you post? When do you post? What do you post? So where do you post? Everywhere. When do you post? When you fucking can. How often do you post? As much as you can. Guys, listen, you're not Mr. Beast. You're not like Tim the Tatman or Jinxie. You're not an established creator that has like a specific routine and rhythm right now. You're starting off, and your objective right now is get as many clips out there on the internet so that way you bring people, you bring eyes to you to get people into your stream. And on top of that, by doing more and more and more, you get better and better and better. You learn how to be more efficient. You learn how to make your clips the way that you want to make them, and you learn how to edit. That's literally how every one of us have started. Now, there's a very valid question to all of this, which is, what kind of content do you push? Like, what do you share to the internet that would entice people to come over there? First and foremost, I'm just gonna mention that context is key. Context in clips is the most important fucking thing. The amount of streamers that I've seen over the years that like just share a funny moment that they understood what that clip was, and their like 5 to 20 viewers understood what that clip was. A person potentially watching that on social media, there was absolutely no context. So it's like, the fuck am I watching right now? Of course, people are not going to engage in that. So context is super important. And the general vibe or guideline is entertainment, educational, and engaging. Now you can include all three into this, but like that's the main structure. Is your clip or vertical entertaining? Is it educational, or does it entice engagement? Like, for example, I do a lot of shit that entices engagement. I make a lot of like iPhone versus Android shit, which would entice people to come and argue, but it's also entertainment as well. And sometimes a little bit of education too. I like to throw a little curveball every now and then and just incorporate all three of them. But nonetheless, if you're not eliciting one of those emotions to bring somebody in to your clip, it's very unlikely that they'll actually want to watch it because it doesn't draw them into it. Now, you've probably heard of this thing online called a niche, right? Which is this like theme that you have across the board. And it is pretty important that you do tie a niche or a theme to whatever it is that you're posting. So that way people understand what they're getting out of you. Now, it's important to not overcomplicate that, right? Like a general niche is like gaming, cooking, art. Consistency in a specific theme and topic is what will ultimately help you build that reputation over and over and over again. As one clip does a little better, and then another does a little better, and then another, people that have similar interests will find you on those clips, and they'll be more encouraged to actually like want to stick around and check you out, and potentially search up your live stream. A big thing to do, whether it's long form content or vertical content, is tell a story, right? Now, a big thing to consider when you're making both long form and vertical clip content to share out there is try to tell some form of story. This goes kind of back to the point of context is pretty important. Whether you're verbally telling a story or just sharing a sequence of events from a clippable moment to be able to allow the clip to tell a story, there's just a general rule of thumb that content is best if it has a hook to bring somebody in, a little bit of a setup, like informing people like what's going on, a little conflict, like, ooh, I wonder if they're going to find a way out of this, and then a resolution for the conflict. I think it's obvious to say that creators should capitalize on like trending topics and situations and events based on whatever theme or niche that you're creating. This is why it is so important to just turn your live stream content into your VOD content or your vertical content, because you just need to be on it, man. Every fucking hour and day that you take to update or talk about something that's like impactful, like the internet's talking about it this moment, the longer you wait, the fucking less relevant it's just gonna be. Like, nobody's gonna care about it most likely in like a day or two. This is something I've capitalized on for years and something I've noticed put me ahead of the game. Like, I would be live talking about something and a trending event based on things that I talk about would go down, like a Twitch update. I would shut down my fucking streams. I didn't care if I was 20 minutes into my stream. Like, I'll come back after I make videos about this. And then typically what would happen is after I would come back after making the videos, it would exacerbate the growth of my stream because I would take the time to go make those clips and go talk about the new shitty Twitch update, which would drive more people to my X and my YouTube, and then thus funnel more people into my stream. So yeah, it's really, really fucking important that you capitalize on trending shit. I can't express enough how lazy creators are with this shit. And again, try to make these excuses of like, well, I gotta really put together a good, great presentation. I gotta take some time and no, you just got to put it the fuck out there. Let's just be real, guys. Most people that I'm talking to in this video, like, you guys are like the sub, 1,000 to 5,000 followers across all socials. Nobody cares about the things that you stress about. You're worrying too much. There's like millions of people on the fucking internet. Like, get the shit out. What are you doing? Now, when it comes to sharing content, everybody likes to throw in the words collaboration and networking And sure, while it's good to collaborate and network to get your name out there a little bit, there's this like illusion that it's just automatically gonna garner you a whole new following. Like you're just gonna soak up everybody that you've collaborated with, like their followings are just now gonna follow you now. And for some reason, a lot of creators put collaborations and networking, quote unquote, at the top of the priority list, when really it should just be at the bottom. It should be at the low end after you've already started to grow a community. At the end of the day, the recipe is really fucking simple. Like you stream something, you're interested in something, and you do something, like you have a hobby in something, you really enjoy this, so you stream it. Okay, so you take moments from that, whether again it's entertainment, engaging, educational, you take moments and you create clips. People find those clips and they're like, oh, I fuck with what this person is saying or doing, or I find them funny. I'd like to check them out. And then once that happens, like, sure, collaborate. But outside of that, focusing on just trying to put yourself or align yourself next to bigger people because it'll get you views, it's just a recipe for disaster. Okay, fast forward a little bit. Let's say you do all this shit, you start downloading your content or you start recording your content and you start actively uploading. Like you're putting out 3 to 8 verticals a day. And by the way, you can do that. You totally can. You can do that on YouTube. You can do it on TikTok. You can do it on Instagram, and you can do it on Facebook, especially if you're starting off. You can just force feed your ugly mug down everybody's throats for the next few weeks, just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. It's completely fine. There's nothing illegal about that. And sure, you might hear some bigger content creators with more established brands say, oh, you gotta post X times a day, you gotta post at this time, you gotta post. You're not fucking them. Ground level, you have no following, nobody knows who you are, there's no rules. You just fucking wing it, man. But let's say you do this, and you start getting some traction, you start getting some viewers, it's very important that you pay attention to your next moves as you start bringing people into your stream. Like for example, interacting during your live stream is really important. I can't tell you the amount of times throughout the last few years that somebody would have a clip that popped off and people would come by their stream and they would get like this gas up for like a week or two, and they just focused on like the game. Like a funny clip blew up on TikTok or Instagram to where people were like, oh, wow, this is really funny. I liked this person's reaction. And then as people came to the stream, the streamer was like, oh, what a great way to where I can just focus up and show them how sick I am at a game. Bro, nobody fucking cares how good you are at the goddamn game, especially if you have a clip that pops off where it's not influenced around you being a demon, where it's like you showing your humor. So interacting with the new viewers that you bring in, taking a little time out of your day to make them feel welcome is pretty important. Now, here's the reality. This is where so many creators go wrong. 1, inconsistency. That's a big one. That's a fucking brutal one, actually. The amount of people that say like, I'm gonna go do this thing, or you get inspired from a video like this and you start doing it, which is great. Like starting is at least part of the process. Taking the first step is always the best step, right? Now you gotta keep walking. And it doesn't matter if you can't see 30 feet in front of you, you can at least see your next step. So that's the step that you take. You have to be consistent, guys. And you can't just expect it in a few weeks. I don't give a fuck if you upload every day, 5 times a day for 3 to 4 weeks. It doesn't automatically mean you're just gonna bring in a fuck ton of new followers. You like might have to do that for like 6 months if you really want this shit. And if you really don't want this shit, then you're not gonna do it. Oh God, this one pisses me off. The blaming. Don't even get me started on this shit, dude. TikTok has me shadow banned. Oh. Streaming platforms don't push my stream. Oh, the YouTube algorithm hates me. Shut the fuck up. Bro, you have like 100 followers. You think the YouTube algorithm gives a fuck about you? Absolutely not. You just don't know what you're doing. After you put out some content, and some of it does well and some of it flops, educate yourself. Fucking download ChatGPT and ask it questions like a dummy. Like, what am I doing wrong? This video didn't perform well. How can I make it better? They'll give you answers, which by the way, I should have probably mentioned that. A lot of you guys need to be using AI and come up with titles, thumbnail ideas, like the captions, hashtags. Like AI has been my best friend. Creators also deal with a sense of burnout. Hot take, I don't think a lot of creators really deal with burnout, but more this lack of dopamine rush. You know, I think a lot of creators just get stagnant and they can't handle the repetition, right? So they just fucking give up. And they blame it on like, oh, I did too much, because society likes to tell everybody, you work too hard, enjoy yourself, take some time off. Guys, let me be the bearer of bad news. If you love what you do, you're gonna put time and energy into it. You're not gonna stress about work-life balance. You're gonna put extra hours into it. This is the point of the video where lazy motherfuckers will tell me, nah, dude, that's bad mental health. I actually had somebody in a recent video where I talked about this said, you're the reason men kill themselves. That's the fucking dumbest take I've ever heard. Actually, the reason why a lot of people don't feel fulfilled isn't because they're working too hard. It's because they have no direction they're going. Dude, when you're just chucking away into the abyss and you don't take some time to assess where you are and learn from your mistakes, it just feels mentally taxing. Like, yeah, if you stream 8 hours a day, every day, and don't create content, you're really not exerting a lot of energy. Like, you're not physically, mentally doing a lot in those streams to burn out. Like, you're not overusing your body, but you're just doing something nonstop based on this idea that something will happen, but then nothing comes as a result. So then you start feeling a sense of regret because you've just wasted so much of your time, as to where if like you would take some time to listen to shit like this today and actually assess changes, look inward a little bit, see where you're slacking, and make those changes and make goals for yourself, you would find that it's way more rewarding. Don't get me wrong, you can definitely work way too many hours. You can overcommit to things. I did that multiple times throughout my career, especially as a graphic designer. But truth be told, over the last like 5 years, these moments, even making YouTube videos where I'm like, I'm burnt out, I'm overdoing things. It was actually more of a result of I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And the anxiety of not knowing where to go next is really what put the pressure on me. So I just used the societal excuse of, I'm just burned out. I'm just overworking myself, when I really wasn't. Which I guess that whole entire conversation touched base too on the next point of where so many creators go wrong, which is self-management, managing your time, managing your goals, taking care of yourself too. Like, I can't express enough, just like working out every single day and having that rhythm will help you overall as a creator. You don't think it would, like, because maybe you're not a fitness influencer. So like, how will being fit help you out? The discipline of sticking through a routine to where it betters you and you get dopamine, you get a rush from that. It puts way less pressure in your life for your content to be the thing that elicits that emotion. And what I mean by that is, if you take 6 months and you're never working out, you're never trying to improve as a person, manage your finances, manage your life, clean up the place around you, and you rely on all your sense of reward and victories to be just from content creation, you might just be fucked. Yeah, that doesn't sound very fun. As to where if you spend the next 6 months and every day, like you work out for 15 to 30 minutes in the morning, or you go for a walk and you just make sure the house around you is clean, and you're getting these small victories, you're giving yourself a sense of reward, a little dopamine. And that spills over. And when content flops or you go in a streak of things not doing well, your hopes are high because you're already doing things that give you a good fucking feeling, and you're not relying on only content to give you that feeling by itself. So yeah, self-management, the people that you hang around, the activities that you do, it's really important, not only for your streaming goals, but life goals as well. And by the way, to the extreme that I went for this, I cut people out of my fucking life. So if you tell me you really want something, you really want this shit, you really want to be a full-time streamer, but you can't like assess and like be a fucking adult and say like, okay, maybe I got to stop doing these certain things that don't help me get to that point, then again, you really don't want it this bad. So maybe just don't even worry about it. And then the final thing where so many creators go wrong, the hate. Listen, guys, I don't give a fuck how fluffy, how nice, how perfect you try to be. People on the internet are ruthless. They don't give a shit. And if you can't handle that, if you can't handle the hate, once again, I go back to the point of it's probably just better to give up, because boy, is it gonna come. It doesn't matter if you show your face, you give your information, you try to hide it, you try to be like faceless, you do VTubing. At some point it catches up with you. Like, people are pieces of shit. Like, that's just the reality of the online world. People are gonna purposely try to say things to make you angry, make you feel like giving up, to get some kind of response out of you. It's best to ignore most of it, maybe poke a little fun at it. Yeah, that really is the secret sauce to growing your stream in 2025. I think statistically, you have no shot in hell in making it as a streamer, like seriously making it, turning it into somewhat of a career, if you're not doing these things that we talked about today. Maybe, just maybe, out of the 99.05%, you'll finally be the one to make it. I would just start buying lottery tickets if I were you. I think you have better odds, honestly. That's all I got for you guys today. I'm out. Deuces.